about a year ago. I was sitting in my office, which is in the loft of my house, and I just got off the phone with a client, or a prospective client, and we were talking about a particular role they were looking to fill, and we were talking about particular candidate profiles they wanted, and we were talking about fees and percentages and terms and conditions and interviews and feedback. And I got off the phone and I put the phone down. I thought to myself, I've just got no interest in this. I've just come off a phone about a bit of business that I could win, and I run my own company, and I'm a strong builder motivator, and yet I've put the phone down and I've really got no interest in it. Last week, I went to London for the day. I had 4 meetings booked with prospective clients. I got up that morning quite early to get the train, and I felt very positive about the day ahead. It didn't feel like it's work. It didn't feel like this was a chore I had to go through to do 4 separate prospective sales pitch meetings. I got on the train, I got to London, I got my first appointment, and we started talking. Some of you here have joined me on all, in fact quite a bit all, of my journey from a year ago when I couldn't see how I could do a job, how I could have a role, how I could run a business that I really wanted to be doing. I had a complete limiting belief that work was not something you ever enjoyed, that work was just a means to an end. And this had been a feeling, an experience that had grown for probably a decade, since the last time I did a role that actually felt anything like enjoyment. Fast forward a year, my mindset is the complete opposite. My mindset now feels like, why wouldn't you do a job that you enjoy? And if you're not doing a job that you enjoy, why aren't you doing something about it? That is not a long period of time to have a complete 180-degree change of view. And also, I would say, add to that up until that point in time, I would say that I'm a very unspiritual person, and I'm a cynic. And for those of you who, in the language of NLP, high AD, so that transformation has been probably more stark, I would think, in me than perhaps a lot of other people. Why has that come about? What's that journey come from? How has that change happened? Through NLP. And attending that week course literally changed my life. And it not only changed my life in terms of changing my mindset, but then the change in the mindset actually then presented opportunities and in fact a whole new business that hadn't been there before. It's incredibly difficult to describe to someone that journey. Someone that has no sort of knowledge of NLP or anything of this ilk. And I sometimes find myself kind of almost not wanting to go on about it because it feels like I'm preaching. But I would just say to anyone that if you're in a situation like I was, where you are in a role that you don't really find satisfying, you're running a business you're not really interested in, you're getting up in the morning and going to work but just going through the motions, I would absolutely implore you to take a week, spend a bit of money with Bevis, and do an NLP course. First meeting of the morning, I've got 4 more. In a previous time, I'd have just thought about getting through those 4 meetings, and the highlight of my day would have been getting the train home again. In the first meeting, we sat down and we started to talk about all things motivation, performance, management, leadership, influence, and I found myself completely caught up in the moment. I was in, as Deepak Chopra would say, flow, and that's the first time I'd been in flow in a role, in a job, in a business. I would absolutely promise you, for a decade. That day was a brilliant day. I got off the phone, I put it down, and I sat there thinking, this is of just no interest to me at all. There is nothing I want out of this call other than me to be able to send the client an invoice and them to pay it on time into my bank account. But I could not see how I could do anything about that at all. As I sat at my desk and I looked out the window, I didn't feel down about it because I didn't know what I could do about it. That evening, my wife came home from work, and she'd been reading a lot and talking to other people about NLP. And she said, "How's your day?" My stock response, "That's all right." "Well, go on, what went on? What have you spoken to? What have you done? What have you achieved? What went well? What wasn't so good?" And my response was, normal stuff really. To which she said, "Simon, I'm booking on an NLP course. I'll pay for it, and there's no arguments, and you're going to do it." And that